actually hesitate a little bit to step into this moment because we just had quite an experience together. But they've asked me to give my response, so I will do that. The first word that comes to mind to me when I think about what we just experienced is human. This just felt so really human to me. We connected with each other in some pretty unique ways. I felt vulnerability when Sam took on this very important role, and I just was right there feeling with you, and everyone else that was brave enough to participate. I laughed, shed a tear or two with you all, with the lights up, in public. And I wondered about Mom and Dad, and I wondered about what could have been different in 1977 if they knew, and what we know now and had the resources that we have now. And what does all that have to do with why I'm standing up here? So I work for Rogers Behavioral Health, and I work with many partners throughout our state whose goal it is to reduce the stigma of mental illness and addictions. And I have to tell you, this experience underscores two things that we know about how to reduce stigma. One is that we get to know each other. And somehow when I get to know you, I get to know some of your hopes and your fears, and a little bit about you. The labels that came to mind when I first saw you start to fade away, and I start to figure out that we have a lot in common, that common humanity is really the answer to how we deal with a lot of the isms in our world, especially the stigma of mental illness and addiction. And the second thing that we know about reducing that stigma is that we need to understand the reality of hope. And this playwright, I think, did an interesting job with the word hope. Didn't tie it up with a bow, right? Actually presented what I would say a pretty messy and brilliant version of hope. One that we can take out of here and actually think about being real for our lives. My hope for you is that you're able to keep your eye on all the brilliant things in life on a regular basis. And when you're not able to do that, like many of us, and I'll say like me and my children and my husband have faced dark times and weren't able to always pull up the many brilliant things in life, I hope that you experience what we experienced, which is friends and family and health care that helped us to return to our own strength and be able to keep our eye on those brilliant things. And then to follow the model, we saw two great models here tonight. Our narrator picked up the phone and asked for help. We can do that, and there's lots of us out there who would like to be there to support. And then we could don our sock puppet, right? And we could try to be that person that offers support. When you leave here tonight, there's a very simple little piece that you can pick up, and it gives some ideas about how we can offer to each other to be a listening ear and effective support without having to be the wonderful school counselor, just being there for each other. So I hope that this experience we had together of community versus isolation, that we could take that into our own community here as a vision for our families and how we are together here in the city of Milwaukee. So thank you, and I hope you'll join us for a conversation to keep, so I can hear your response to this neat experience we've had. So thank you.